Hey guys, Joe Zamataro from PWC Muscle. In this video, we're going to be removing the supercharger from a 2015 RXP-X 260. Alright, so for those of you who haven't met him before, this is Daryl. He is our lead shop tech, our shop manager, all over our social media, and for this particular install, he's going to be the one that takes charge here. So Daryl, take it away. What's the first step?
Let's go. We're going to remove the degas bottle and we're going to remove the back trim so that we can get access down to the supercharger and the water box and get everything moved out of the way to remove the supercharger.
All right, let's show them.
All right guys, so first step, you're going to want to pinch these tabs, pull up on your water bottle and get it moved over out of your way. So you'll see here underneath this body panel, you'll have a body dart. You can use either a dart puller or a flathead screwdriver, whichever you have, to simply wiggle it out. Okay. So you're going to need to remove these two darts in addition to the rear Torx head bolt, Torx bit right in the rear. Take out these two Torx bits to reveal the bottom two bolts. Then you're going to get a pry tool and remove these two pins. Removing these four bolts, and then you have two more in the rear. Side panel's removed. Now this gives you access to remove the rest of the panel. Once your panel's removed, you can begin by loosening all of your worm gear clamps, holding your water lines onto your water box, your crankcase vent, and your discharge side of your supercharger. And I like to take the exhaust pipe off from the water box to the resonator so that you have somewhere to lay your coolant tank while you work on removing the supercharger. With everything removed, you have access to the supercharger. Now I like to remove the crankcase vent here. That way you actually have access straight down to the top mounting bolt. So after you remove the crankcase vent, here is going to be the literal hardest part of the whole job. It's the biggest pain. This top screw right here, you can only turn about a quarter turn at a time. Now if you don't have the recommended removal tool, you can get away with using a 1/4 inch 12-point box wrench to get that screw out. Alright, so now that we've gotten the supercharger loose, we've got all the mounting, we've got the top mounting bolt out, the two bottom mounting bolts loose. What you'll need to do is loosen the strap holding the water box and the first clamp, and then just slide the water box aft to give you room to bring the charger out. Now, for the bottom bolts, you can run your hand down the side. The easiest way to remember is the bottom bolt is directly center of the volute all the way at the bottom. You get that one out. The other one is directly about mid of the discharge tube, straight down, and there it is. Time to time, the supercharger can be very hard to get out, so what we recommend doing is rolling the supercharger to the side and simply take a pry bar and lightly push against it and it'll pop. And as soon as it's popped, you can pull it out by hand. So you'll roll it. I've already loosened this one up. Now I recommend when you pull it out to inspect your clutches and be sure that they're there. If they're not there, you'll need to go into the motor and get the fragments out.
Alright, so with that supercharger out, Daryl's going to head in the back, get it nice and freshened up, get it fully rebuilt, and we'll show you the reinstallation, which basically the exact opposite of the installation process. Okay, the supercharger is out and on the bench, and when you're ready to have your supercharger rebuilt, be sure to send it to us at pwcmuscle.com, where you can find a link to our supercharger rebuild service right on the front page. We are the #1 rebuilders of Sea-Doo superchargers, so you know you'll be in great hands. Daryl right now is refreshing this one, and in just a little bit here he'll be done with this rebuild, and then we'll go show you how to reinstall it into that Sea-Doo RXP-260.
The Supercharger is rebuilt, ready for install. One thing you can get at your time of checkout when you purchase your rebuild service is grease packs. We sell these grease packs. They come in handy for greasing the O-rings. This is going to ensure that you don't cut an O-ring. It's also going to force grease around the edge of the charger to make sure you don't have any sort of oil seepage from the supercharger port. So when you get your supercharger in, it may go all the way in, but it may stop. If it stops, reach in with one hand into the volute, turn the compressor wheel as you also push back on the charger. All right guys, so when you go to put your bolts back in, we do recommend 1 drop of blue Loctite on all 3 of your bolts. Now, if you end up stripping your bolts on the removal process, don't worry. We sell 3 brand new stainless bolts on our website. Now, when you buy those bolts, you won't need blue Loctite, as BRP supplies their own Loctite already coated on the bolts. When you go to put these in, torque spec is 9 Newton meters, or about wrist tight without any sort of wrench on the bolts.
Reinstallation is the exact opposite of the removal process. Go ahead and install all of your hoses and hose clamps, and then you can proceed to put the rear engine cover back on. Thank you very much for watching. As always, ride fast, and we'll see you on the water.